YouTube? In today's video, we are building, yes, another PC. And this one is close to me because this is about to be Bay. This is about to be PC Bay for real. Shout out to Fractal Design for supplying me with this case that we're going to build in. I'm going to show you guys that. They also gave me a ton of their fans. Shout out to G-Skill. We got something nice. RAM sticks from them. And that's the end of the shout outs. Okay, so we're going to be building on the Intel 14th Gen series yet again this year. This is the 14900K. We're going to be inside of this Aorus Z90 Pro X gaming motherboard. We have our Corsair RM1200X shift power supply. That's going to be fun. And we got the Pro cables along with that. So we got the full kit with that. We have our Thermal Grizzly contact frame this time. There's a reason we switched to this one since it's a full one piece of metal. We have a 4TB 990 Pro M.2 SSD. Again, as I said, here's our G-Skills Trident Z5 Royal. This is the Royal RAM sticks of all RAM sticks. You'll see when I get inside of it and you guys will know. So we have these Aspect 14. These are 140 millimeter fans. These will be all throughout this build from Fractal. So as you guys can see, the full case is going to be cooled quite well with all 140 millimeter fans outside of few 120s, the three that'll be on the 360 millimeter, which we'll be doing the NZXT Kraken one. And then we have the Fractal Flex 2 PCIe 4.0 GPU riser. So we finna have some fun with this GPU. Speaking of GPU, let me show you guys really quick what we're working with. Now, this is not the final GPU. This is not the final build. I wanted it to be a completely white build. And this is the one piece of equipment that is not all white. So companies out there that make GPUs, if you guys want to supply me with a white GPU, Asus has one of the dopest looking white GPUs. Gigabyte Aorus has some more nice white GPUs. MSI, you feel me? So right here, we're going to be going 4090 in this build. I have yet to use and experience a 4090. So we have this MSI Gaming Slim. So, you know, this is like a 4090 that's kind of like the size of a 4080, basically. All that 4090 thickness. And last but not least, let me show you guys the case that we're going to be building within. All right. Oh. Okay, so as you guys can see, the core build or the core frame of this build is going to be the Fractal Design North XL. I've always wanted to build inside one of these North cases, but they made the original one that you've seen everybody build in even better with the North XL. That's why I'm glad I waited. You know, I don't have what everyone else has. They have the North. This is the North XL, which there is a difference. And let's go ahead and open this up. All right, guys, soon as you open this bad boy up, shout out to the presentation. That right there, that is the focal point that we love about the Fractal North XL case and North. Another thing I want to note is every case that I built inside of as of late, especially this year, and even the one that I had previous, were all like shorter form factors, some a little thick, a little wide, the dual chambers, but smaller cases. Now this case is sporting three 140 millimeter front intake fans right there. That's a lot of air, a lot of airflow. If you look at the top of it, have a nice vented top portion. Now this comes in two styles. So you could do a mesh siding or tempered glass. I'm a little fancy. I want to show off the build. So we have the tempered glass version. Yes, it would have been nice to have this interior be all white. I don't mind a little contrast, but we're adding in a white motherboard, white fans, white cabling. The only thing is the graphics card is going to be not white, unfortunately. Y'all see this pull tab right here? It's all about the details, man. This case to me is a very mature, it's like a grown man case. This is the mature big boy case. I love it. Let's remove the backing. Okay, so pull back on that to get that out. Nice. So as you can see, a lot of space to work within. Inside of this case, we will be using a, is this an EATX case or is this just ATX? Oh yeah, this is ATX. It's not even EATX. I would have loved to have used the EATX one Wi-Fi 7 from Gigabyte Aorus on here. Still could possibly do it in the future. All right, so as you guys can see, here's the backing. Nice clean cable management. So the fans run right here. So everything that was inside that accessory box is right here. All right, so that's our North XL case. Nice big A decent sized little gap back here for cabling, but you know, on cases like this that are more slimmer and upper and non-dual chamber, you have to keep in mind of your cable management. Right here, we do have the shift power supply, which is going to allow for our cables to come directly right here that we plug into the power supply. There's clearance and room for that to happen. We're going to see how it all plays out in the way that, you know, we build within here, but I'm really looking forward to it. I'm ready to get into this thing. Now the black version of this case is dope too, because the black version has gold accent power buttons. And okay, so what I want to do now is remove the front 140mm case fans and replace them with 140mm RGB fans, which are these right here. She's wide open. All right, so let's see what exactly do we get inside of one of these boxes. Fan screws, a nice white RGB fan, baby. And you can daisy chain these, which I will be doing. This is simply gonna be placed literally like right here. Route the cables and get the fan seated really fast. Lines up perfectly, sits right on top of the fan. All right, now let's just daisy chain these. Super easy. These arrows are always a great indicator for you, especially with the RGB, so that way you know you're connecting it correctly. For anyone who may be nervous or this may be their first time doing this. Okay, so we got our front RGB fans installed, all 140mm. Any company that has a 420mm radiator in white that wants to get in on this build and get some showcase. I would love to showcase 420mm radiator. I could place it up front in here. It's gonna fit, and it's gonna allow me to use more 140mm fans in this build versus what I'm going to end up doing. Wi-Fi 7 white antenna. Yes, we are adding the white into this case even more with the white motherboard from Aorus. I love their easy to use. So we got the top spot right here with the big sink. We got the big graphics card thing right here. M.2 thermal guard if you want to go that route. We're going to skip this one. We're going to use the M.2 down here. Let's go ahead and open up A2 and B2 for our RAM slots. So for our M.2 drive, we're gonna be rocking this 990 Pro and 4 terabytes. Giving myself 4 terabytes allows me to not max out storage quickly. So we're gonna go into this port right here. Boom, completely toolless. And we are done with our M.2 installation. So we can go back, slide this on. Boom. Okay, so now when it comes to the CPU socket, we will be replacing this with the CPU contact frame. I'm a fan of Thermal Grizzly, and the reason why I chose this one over the cheaper one that I've used on my other builds in the past is because this one is actually one solid piece of metal. The other ones are maybe 4 pieces of metal glued together. And I didn't know that ahead of time, or else I would have went with this in the first place. But the reason why people dodge this one is because it costs more. So here it is, the Thermal Grizzly, one solid piece of metal. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is install your CPU before you even start removing or doing anything. That way you protect the pin. And there we have it, our hot i9 14900K. For new PC builders, I'm going to show you a tip to help you not mess this up so you don't have to be nervous. You guys should be able to see that there's an arrow right here, and on the cover of this clip thing right here, I'm probably gonna have to brighten this up. There's a arrow right there just showing you. Another logical way to look at this and not make that mistake is the writing, keeping it facing the right way. And once you do that, you're good to go. Open this up, expose those pins. And that's the main reason why we're placing the CPU, so that we do not destroy those pins. CPU is placed, and now we're gonna remove these things. All right, that prevents any type of injury from happening. We're gonna take the thermal grizzly plate and place it right on top of this. And we're gonna replace our screws. Half turn, half turn, half turn, half turn, half turn pass resistance, half turn pass resistance, half turn pass resistance, half turn pass resistance. That's where I'm going with that. Let's get our RAM installed. I can't wait to share the beautiful RAM chips that I have. Major shout out to G-Skill for these Trident Z5 Royal DDR5 RAM chips. These are beautiful. These come with a microfiber cloth. I wonder why would RAM chips come with a microfiber cloth? This is why. Oh, look at these beautiful RAM chips right here. Oh my goodness. If you do get these, don't forget to peel them. All right, I gotta get you guys an up close of these RAM chips. I got y'all. Man, major shout out to G-Skill again for adding major swag to this PC build. I'm super amped. All I need is an all-white graphics card. All I need is an all-white graphics card, and this build is gonna be crazy. This backplate for these NZXT Krakens are adjustable, so no matter the sizing you have for your motherboard, it should be able to work with it, which is super clutch. All right, let's get these in. Now we can actually put our motherboard into our PC case. I never have like a good strategy on how to get these in here. There we go, perfectly on there. Boom. I usually get my hand on the IO right here and then help guide it that way. That's the easiest way I've found. All right, we have our motherboard screws, which we're gonna use to screw this in, and let's get that done. All right, so next up, we will be doing our radiator install, which is gonna be this NZXT Kraken 360 Elite. I'll put the model number in the description next to the links. There'll be links to everything that I'm building with in the description and in the pinned comment, or anytime I make a video about this PC. Next thing we gotta do is thermal paste. I almost forgot about that. Actually, I should lay this PC down really quick. I use the peanut butter jelly sandwich method. We're gonna spread that out. Hopefully that covers and that's enough. If not, we will add more. All right, let's get this radiator onto here. Okay, super cable filled radiator. So we're gonna run these cables through ahead of time. Feed these cables through these grommets first, and then we're gonna pull it through and get the radiator set up here up top. And we're gonna pull and feed this through. So that way everything goes through nice and clean. This is a big radiator. So we have this up in place. Okay, next we're gonna put another Fractal Design RGB 140mm fan as our rear exhaust. Number one, feed your cables first. All right, our cables have been fed. Now it's time to screw this bad boy in, and it fits perfectly. Definitely one of the best looking cases in the game. When we do this, yep, tubes at the bottom, boom, that's how we're gonna get it on there. All right, so let's secure the pump onto the CPU. All right, this is the type of placement we are going for right here. Hand tighten first. Now it's all about the plugs. We're definitely gonna wanna get this onto the CPU pump connection for sure. Now, I don't want extra slack, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run it out the grommet and back in through the other grommet. We're gonna get that swag. So that way, a lot less cable showing. All right, we got our other cables that come with, you know, radiator. As far as the pump goes, it needs power. So this is gonna be power, and there's fan connectors on here. And there's also a USB plug for our radiator as well. Okay, so right here are my USB connectors. I'm gonna plug this in. Now another part of the radiator is the fans. all of the fan cables that came with this one. We're going to daisy chain and connect together and get all of the proper connections. So you have this daisy chain connection point right here. So this is a very easy CPU cooler for beginners because all of these fan connects are gonna be obvious for this. And then the RGB ones, they have a special connection point anyway of their own that NZXT has supplied you with. And that is this right here, has its own USB splitter, so you're not taking up a USB. And it has power as well via SATA, so everything you need. And it has the 3 RGB connections right here. So 1, 2, 3. Now I'm gonna run the USB splitter into my motherboard. So this is my USB splitter that I'm running into the motherboard. We might as well go ahead and put these case connections on to our motherboard. So right here we have our HD audio, which is front panel audio. So our USB 3.2 connector goes right here. It's labeled, it has a slot. It's very hard for you to make any mistakes with this. So I'm gonna connect that hub into system fan number 1. All right, for some of you guys who may be wondering about where I plugged in these cables. So my front panel audio, or the HD audio one, is right here. My USBs both went right there. System fan from the hub, I plugged in there. And then there's the LED plus, LED negative right there, as well as my power switch right here. So that way you guys kind of get an idea of what I did. The USB 3.2 one that I was saying is hard to mess up. That's it right there. As far as power cables go, you guys have your 24 that goes right here. And you guys typically have 2 8-pins up right there. That's pretty standard. All right, so this is my current cable situation. I just kind of made a little way right now. Now, I mean, it's not the prettiest thing, but it's allowing me to have space and an ideology of where everything's going to be as we get ready to move into our power supply. There's these thumb screws right here, right? Which, again, you gotta unlock those thumb screws first. It probably isn't that deep, but you buy an electric screwdriver, you're gonna use it, especially when it costs a premium. So this right here, you can connect to your power supply and then just bring your power supply in and seat it, and everything's gonna be good to go. So we are rocking with the Corsair RM1200X shift. And the shift is a big plus to this, as well as I got the Pro Cable kit. So all of the cables are nice premium braided cables, and they connect directly to our power supply, and that's clutch. And they're all gonna be premium white braided cables, so let's get into it. Bro, where are my cables, bruh? Ain't no way they didn't not ship my cables. Okay, so apparently my Pro cables are with the USPS Postal Service, and my shipping tracking is looking a bit dodgy. It's not defined. Literally, I waited for today for this to come, and I thought I had everything, and I do not have the cables, bro. I want to show you guys the point of the shift. This is the portion that goes out the back, and typically right around on the other side would be where you plug in the cables. Well, not on this one. It's shifted to the side. So when I place this one inside of here like this, all of the cables are coming out of the side, out this way and up. So that's the plus side to that. What I will do is go ahead and attach this power supply unit screws. This is gonna go into here like so, and then this will screw in. Screw that in, and your power supply is there, ready for your usage. I just need my cables so I can route them up. I will say this though, Corsair, please ship your Pro cables with your power supply in the same box if someone buys that bundle. Try and save the moment. I'm gonna get into this Fractal PCIe 4.0 Flex 2, which is basically gonna allow for me to mount my GPU. There we go. All right. So here we have it, the support bracket, and is it like this? So we're going right here like this. 4090 time. All right, we're gonna attach this to our riser. This one has 3 slots, so we'll see if it still works. I actually had doubts at some point when doing that because it didn't seem like it would take it, but it did. All right, as you guys can see, we have our 4090 onto our riser 2 from Fractal. Now we need to go ahead and install this big boy. Bro, I'm so upset about my cables not being here. USPS is slacking right now. The tracking is just saying it's something in the network, but it's not telling me where it's at and a proper ETA, which is crazy. All right, so we're gonna mount this to the case first, and then we'll connect the PCIe. But you know what though? I think connecting the cable to the motherboard before getting to this point is gonna be the smartest thing before we go any further, because it's important. All right, looks like it's in there, and we're gonna get this to go back into its position that it had before. YouTube, I'm back. They're finally here. The cables that should have come along with my power supply, but they shipped them separate. And is it justified? It better be. Cause boy, I was unhappy because I wanted to complete that project that day. When I start a project, I like to finish it. So premium Type 5 individually sleeved cables. All right, so as you guys can see, I've already done some light cable management, and there's not a ton of cables. Even though I used fans that had cables, if I used magnetic fans, which we'll probably do in a future video, this thing would be like so much more clear back here. So now we're gonna add in a little bit more clutter. And I love when cables are labeled. It makes the process easier, especially for first time builders. Here we have our GPU cable. So we need to go ahead and get that going. So I think I might go from up here. So I'm gonna just pre-feed all of the cables that I will be using, right? Boom. So as you guys can see, we got this right here, and I'm thinking about having this GPU one, so it'll kind of be like this. And I think that looks pretty decent, actually. Now I can lock it all into place. I'll say this, these cables are a lot easier to use and maneuver in these tight spaces than the ones that typically come with your power supply. Here's the other 8-pin. I want you guys to see how easy this is. All right, so we're bending like this. Look how easy this is to bend. All right, so I'm going under the fan cables, through the grommet. I'm tucking. Oh my goodness, you guys. This looks so good. Boom, 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 boom. So everything as far as the motherboard and GPU has a power cable assigned to it. Now the only thing else that I need to power are these SATA power cables for my hub and the you know, the AIO pump and things like that. So you get one of these inside of this pack. It obviously has a lot of SATA connections on it, and this is gonna serve us for all we need. And literally after I connect this, I believe I'm done. There we go. And then we'll put this other one on the second one. Now we get to route and plug in to our power supply. So I'm gonna give you guys a real angle for that one. Look how small Type 5 connectors are. It's nice though, it's really nice. So we're gonna plug that in right here, super simple. And then we're gonna take this other Type 5 right here. Now, CPU right here. I'm just gonna plug in both of these right here. Let's get our GPU pushed in. 1 and 2. Okay, and then we have our last one right here that we're gonna plug in. Super simple, super easy. All right, so now all we have to do is tuck these cables into place. And it should be a quite simple tuck for the most part. At least I'm anticipating that. I'm hoping for that. Now this does get a little thick right here, and this is where you're gonna need clearance if you use this this style of cable right here. I'm trying to get these cables in over here. That did everything I need to do. That is clean. That is pretty clean compared to what I usually do with the tuck it, you know, give it a little You guys, all we need to do is the infamous first boot up. And that's literally what I'm about to do. So give me 1 hot second. Literally it'll be the next, you know, scene for you guys. Like, oh, it fit perfectly. All right, I want to give you guys a pro tip. If you get a tempered glass case, there's typically a piece of plastic on the inner part of the glass. I remember one time I was shooting B-roll shots and I was like, why is that reflection there? It's because of this. Little slots that it fits into on the bottom, same up top, and then you just ease it into place. Now let's see if this thing will boot up. Let me get a monitor, let me get a keyboard, let me get a mouse. Magnetic Wi-Fi antenna. I mean, we just conveniently have an Aorus QD OLED 360 Hertz monitor. Yes. We got this new dope Hall Effects keyboard from Keychron. Yes, these are Hall Effects. Super dope. As far as the mouse goes, we'll keep it typical with the Logitech. And with that keyboard, I don't know if you know it or not, but Keychron sells keyboard cases, but not only that, they also have their own keyboard cables. Boom! So all these different colors of Keychron cables. Should we go with the razzle dazzle or keep it a little bit more chill and mature? Aviator style cables. Also, you have the option of plugging in regular or USB-C, baby. All right, you guys, it is now that very moment that we've all been waiting for. The first boot up and power on. Ooh, we got lights. We got lights, baby. Let's go. Lights, camera, action. Lights, camera, action. Ooh, look at that RAM. Look at those RAM sticks. Wait. Ooh, look at these RAM sticks. Hold on. It's obviously an RGB affair. I love it the way that it is, but I know once I get an all-white GPU, this thing is gonna be next level.
Rising, I waking, I gotta go get it. I'm making my bed and it's straight to the digits. No cup of jokers, this is acidic. So I take a shot with the lemon and ginger. Look in the mirror like, yeah, I'm that. Look in the mirror like, I'm fitted. Looking outside like the world is all mine. Look in the mirror like, go get it. I gotta get to the scene, oh, I gotta get to the bag now. I can't be chasing on these. They getting, they feeling and dragged down. That's why they just crash out. Stuck in the cell and it's man down. Life getting gone in a flash.